I've actually been meaning to do this now for at least a few years. I know that at some point, if I made a YouTube channel, I wanted to make sketchbook tours showing you my old sketchbooks. And I mentioned this last year that at some point I did want to make these, because this is going to be a series. If you didn't know, I draw a lot, okay? Right now I'm at my 30th sketchbook, right? This little fella right here. Sketchbook 30. It might seem a lot for a few people, and to some it might not be anything at all. I've seen a few sketchbook tours being recommended to me that are like, Sketchbook 97 tour. What did I do this time? And it's like an old one, which I find impressive. But to me, like, in my opinion at least, like for me personally, 30 sketchbooks is a lot. That's a lot of drawing that I've done. And I finally want to do these, okay? So I'm finally starting this. I want to post at least one the first Monday of every month. And I want to start with these two right here. These sketchbooks are technically a duet in like my mind, like with how these series go in my head. I have other ones, okay? I have two sketchbooks prior to these, but like they have a bunch of random stuff because I didn't actually like know what sketchbooks were back then. I have that in my folder series. I mentioned how stupid I was. I did not understand how the art community worked, and if like that this community existed, or that the images that I found online came from artists. So these are actual sketchbooks when I realized, oh, like there's a community for this, people draw and whatever and that sort of stuff. So these are the beginning of that. I keep the other ones because there are technically drawings there, but you know, it's not like sketchbook drawings. This first one right here, this is the first one, goes from 2018 to 2019, like the beginning of 2019. This one is from the beginning of 2019 to actually the beginning of 2020, and there's a really interesting little fact in here, okay? This is technically sketchbook 1, okay? I did not flip through these. Now, this series, I think that this first video is the only one where I don't need to put a warning, but I need to warn you that further along with these, I will start showing many triggering things. I didn't actually flip through these to actually check whether or not I have to put a warning, but if there are stuff that need warning, there will be a warning at the beginning of these, and if not, just keep in mind that in the future the other videos all will have a warning, because things don't go well for the angel kill, okay? So let's start. I decorated this. I have no idea what the actual book is. I just sort of, I don't even know why I covered these. I know that this is a government book. If you didn't know, I use a lot of books that the government gave me and my brother when we still went to school, which that's a lot. This one is a bought one. I don't know why I decorated it. First we have, wow, that's great. First we have a scenery. I know that this, I was watching an artist, a cartoonist, specifically like a cartoon artist, draw environments. And I had realized like, oh, I don't need to draw realism to draw environments. I could just do things cartoon-like. And that's what I did. So that's this is that. Here on the front cover thingy, I actually have 3 town names. I won't show the actual thing because I mention names and other stuff from the time, I guess. There are some really weird things written there. But I have 3 names written down, one being Xelium, another one being Tortius, and another one being Celica. I know that these were 3 different countries that were part of the Xelium story, so it's interesting to know that Xelium is old. Now, how am I going to show this? Because also these pages are extremely thin. You can actually see the outline of the other side. Very quality paper. Very high quality, I guess. Here we have this. I guess I'll have to show it like this. Like, isn't that fun? random body. You can see I still did the little like ball stuff at the time because I did not understand anatomy at all. And I thought that everyone just worked like balls and sticks. And here we have me trying to learn how to draw trees. I know that at this point in my life, I really wanted to draw trees because, you know, Zelium has like that whole edge of the forest edge. I'm sorry, I always confuse those two things. Makes no sense. And I, at the time, did not know how to draw trees. So I started practicing, and instead of going after a reference and learning from there, I just didn't do that, and I just started guessing. This is made with acrylics. Pink tree, I guess. Here I was trying out a marker. This is probably a Faber-Castell marker. I must have used one in the past, I'm pretty sure, because it's the only marker that I do use. I have a vague memory of like saying the entire name of that. Here we have a random page of me trying to draw a chibi and still using the ball things. I know that this was supposed to be a doll-like thing. Maybe I was trying to make an actual sculpture with called porcelain, which is the type of clay that I use when sculpting stuff, which honestly I miss sculpting. At some point I need to get back to that and buy myself clay, but clay is expensive, so I guess I'll just leave this here for now. While I have to do this again. These little drawings here are actually from 2019, and I know that, I remember it. And this was one of the first designs for 178, when she was still sort of sharing souls with Selena and she. It's a whole ordeal, okay? That's way past me now. Then here we have cat studies, okay? And on the other side, it was me trying to put my cat study to practice, but I did not know how anything worked. Look at the dimension here, like, you see the depth in this drawing? Everything has so much depth. It's like it's 3D. It's like I can grab it and see it. Don't you also? I mean, I can grab it and I can see it. But you know, I did not know depth very well. Here we have me practicing, sort of trying to draw coily hair or just very curly one. It is however you want to take it as, I guess. Honestly, not a very good study, but the art style looks cute. It's very anime. Do you think I'm going to do something random now? Which honestly, like, people shouldn't do, but it's my sketchbook, okay? Let's just put 2026. Can I still draw in this art style is my question. Because like, I knew that back then I wanted to just draw anime. Like normal anime style, like the usual one. But you think I actually practice the way someone should? Of course not. So we just left it at that, I guess. I mean, I guess I know how to draw in this anime art style. The eye, at least. I guess I should put an eyebrow. It's interesting seeing that back then I did the usual like line anime eyebrow. Nowadays, if you didn't know or never noticed, I tend to draw the eyebrows, and I actually draw each and every hair of the eyebrow because I just like that. Oh, this is a fun one. I really liked, and I still do, of course, but I had like an obsession with blue whales specifically. So I actually practiced them. Here it says person, but in Portuguese for some reason. Like, look, I know that I say that I live in South America, right? I don't live in Brazil. I'm just saying that straight up. But look at these little blue whales. They're so cute. These are like something that I still like to this day. Which honestly, like, I can see a few mistakes here and there, for obvious reasons, right? But these still look really good. Maybe that says more about me than anything. But like, look at this one. I actually colored it in with colored pencils. The dedication. I still use colored pencils nowadays from time to time, like rarely. But back then it was the only thing I really knew, so ignore this for one split second and look at this drawing. I know that this was supposed to be Selena at the time. Look, the infamous birds, the V-bird. Damn, look at seafoam. So realistic, guys. So realistic. And these waves. Man, that's so cute. I didn't know how to draw. Not saying that I would know how. Actually, I would. Who am I lying to? Me trying to draw dogs. I had very serious issues with drawing animals, okay? Serious issues. And I know that this is my dog looked from behind, or it was supposed to be. Does he look as ugly as he does here? Yes, definitely. Poor dog, I'm just bullying him. I know that this is also my dog. Not the same one, for obvious reasons, right? Does he look like my dog? Yes, because he in fact is that ugly. Poor guy. He's a senior now. He's old. And this, I was just trying to practice stuff. More blue whales, of course. And this was Selena when she still had short hair and used this ugly ass outfit. No shoes as well. Bro, couldn't even draw with shoes on. This is 2019 of me trying to draw chibi or trying to practice a chibi style. This diarrhea right here, I have no idea what this is. It could be blood for all I know. Isn't this Sayuri? I have a character that is part of the Geometrals, whose name is Sayuri. Is that her? I know that I'm pretty sure that there actually is a drawing of Sayuri in here, which is one of the only drawings that I have of her. See? This was supposed to be her design. At the time, the Geometrals used these armor stuff, and I think that they still do, in a way. It's very Honkai Impact Third inspired. At the time, I used to play that game a lot. Nowadays, not anymore. But this is the girl. And damn, look at that anatomy. Look at this. This is a masterpiece. We'll have to talk about this at some point. Not right now. Here we just have a swatch page on the other side, so you don't care about that. This... Okay, look, follow me, okay? I had this idea of a huge dog, but I did not know how to draw angry dogs, okay? Here I say... How do I translate this? It's like, this is scary. And then it's like, this is still scary. So I just straight up delete everything, this scary idea, and just go for a little doggy, a little puppy, and I'm like, no, it's better. So I went for like an anime dog to see if that would fit my style more, and I'm like, it's getting better. And I went for this super cartoonified one, and I say that it's pretty. I guess it's cute. I agree, it's cute. That's all I can say, really. Not that I know how to draw dogs better nowadays, or do I? I honestly don't really know. Maybe I should do that at some point. Here we have a Selena, or is it? I mean, it must be, right? I never separated the shirt from the shorts, and just now I'm realizing. Okay, so. How do I explain this? This was a dream that one of my friends at the time had. They were telling me that they had this beautiful, like, golden yellow dress. They were, like, running around in fog. It was a really interesting but beautiful dream. Well, not but and beautiful. This, I don't know. It's me planning something for January. And did I ever go through with it? I have no idea. Me practicing to draw things more dynamic? Question mark? Let me drink my coffee. Because if you didn't know, I have a tendency to forget that I have a coffee. I'm afraid of this specifically. Do you remember that character that I said that I absolutely, utterly hate? That Michi character? That was actually his name, Michi. Do I have to say anything? Here I say that I simply love this hand position. The one that I do here as well. Just got obsessed with that. I don't even know if you saw that. I'm honestly just guessing at this point. I do it here, and whatever. I just really like doing perspective stuff. Even if it's wrong, I guess. Honestly, you don't have to have that much skill. As long as your concepts are interesting, you will call attention. This here, okay, these parts, there is a drawing that I show in my folder series, which if you saw that illustration with this one, you will recognize these. This was me trying out, see if I preferred a black dress or a red dress for that, and how I would draw the eye. Me doing chibis or something. I don't know. I don't know. There's absolutely nothing in these pages. How great. Oh, here is a concept idea for the illustration of that dream. I actually drew the dream on like a huge paper that I would not be able to record because it's absolutely huge. And here I was practicing another concept for like a lotus girl, you know, the usual thing. Or, oh, girl laying on a lotus flower. Or better saying the little flower? No, leaf, that lily pad. I got there. Girl holding cup. And I'm like, what? Because that's not how you hold a cup. This doesn't make sense. Did I ever practice though? No. Girl reaching out for something like crawling or something along the lines? I don't even know. So, here is my Hamilton obsession. Just straight up. Of course. It started in 2017 or like 16 or something and went all the way to 2018. Just me straight up being, oh, Liza! You know, the Schuyler Sisters. Is that the name of the song? I think so. That's the name of the song, right? Work? Love that song. Sometimes just randomly the song pops up in my head. I'm just cleaning the house and singing that. And then it's just like, the Schuyler Sisters, yeah! It makes no sense. I haven't heard any of the Hamilton musical songs in forever, like years. I should go back. I remember just like watching the animatics and animations for that. And big inspiration for my art style. Galactabun, you will forever be famous. I have no idea where they went. Hope that they are doing well though. So like I was doing like Ultras inspired stuff. I like that. Here I was choosing the hairstyle for that one character that I based on the bipolar disorder, but I should just eliminate my existence for that because I fucking hate myself. It's just a very bad representation of it, and like, I didn't know better. I should have investigated a little bit, and that was it. Sometimes you just shouldn't, you know, just don't do that. If it involves other people, just don't. And this was a manhwa that I was reading at the time. Just come along, okay? There was this manhwa that I was obsessed with because the art style was just beautiful. The story is something to be concerned over, honestly, but the art style was and is still so beautiful. That artist really knows how to draw. I don't know if I would say unfortunately or fortunately, they cancelled the manhwa for the concept, okay, the concept of it. And maybe later on I will mention the name, I don't know. But I was just obsessed with the way that this artist drew, and I wanted to like sort of replicate that, and that's sort of what I went for. I never actually got there. Never in my entire illustration process thing. Never got there. Here, I have no idea what I was doing for this, okay? I don't remember. Random thing. We have to talk about this. We'll talk about him in a second, okay? This was the character of that manhwa, one of the protagonists, whose name I do not remember. Don't read this, okay? This is not made for kids. Oh well. I never got there, but it was an interesting art style, and honestly, it's very beautiful still to this day from what I can remember. That artist draws really well, but the story is questionable. Okay, just focus on the Selena for a sec. I'll get into him in a split second, okay? Because this here will follow us through these sketchbook tours for a very long time, okay? For a very long time. So look at the Selena. I know that I wrote here, oh my god, not even him to save me. God, not even God save me with this ugly drawing. So it's like Selena holding someone in a little drawer. Who is that? Oh, I think it's actually him now that I think about it. Okay, so, okay, look. My creepypasta face. Other than it never having ended, but I did things which will get very confusing throughout this whole sketchbook tour series, okay? But let's just say that I got so obsessed with this, but so obsessed with this, that it actually caused me problems in my personal life, but also this will go on for years, okay? And you will understand this in the later series. Moon scene. I still haven't stopped drawing. Okay, so this is actually interesting, okay? Here we have a Selena. This is velvet, little velvet straps that I cut out to use. It's an interesting thing. I did mixed media like this. I know that these little things here were concepts for a draw this in your style. What was the artist's name? Lucid Nemo. That's the artist's name. They have a channel here on YouTube, and I just loved watching their channel. So they made a draw this in your style, and I drew something. I don't think that I actually ever published the drawings, but I did show them in my folder series, the finished results. Keep in mind that like from this first, actually a lot of these drawings, the finished results are in the folder series where I show you my traditional drawings, usually finished pieces, like quote unquote, like right. There are like a few sketches there too, I think. But yeah, and this here, at the time I got recommended a video on synesthesia. If you don't know, that is when your senses are interconnected. For example, I do in fact have synesthesia. I can hear colors and smells from time to time. And like it was explaining what synesthesia was and whatever, and like there was a test there at the end because they knew like an artist who also had synesthesia, and we're like, okay, so now you close your eyes and you listen to these things and whatever, like yada yada. And I actually like started drawing down like the colors that I heard and like these things, right? And then they were like, if you saw like a golden thing, like grayish stuff, then yes, you have synesthesia. You know, it was like, I saw this. I definitely don't have it. Bro, that's not how it works. But whatever, right? Whatever. This I have no idea what this is. This was a painting that I was making. I have this MDF board that's sort of like cut out, and I planned on putting all of my characters from the Zelium story at the time like on the border, and like Selena as the main character in the middle. So I like drew it out here. Here was one of the first concepts. This I never even finished. And I actually never finished the painting in itself. And in fact, I painted over the sketch that I had made on the MDF board and painted something completely different that I won't put here because I don't want to. Okay, we will get into this in a bit. Here was me trying to redesign this ugly ass character that I absolutely utterly hate. I hate him, okay? He is dead at this point. He got murdered, okay? He got murdered by me. I don't even know why this marker got transferred on this page, but in yellow? Is this like a separation of the ink? That's interesting. So, I guess we will have to get into this. At this point in my life, is this spoilers? I mean, not really. The story starts that way, right? Technically. Okay, so Selena is, I mean, you must have noticed with these drawings in the past, it's no secret, right? Selena is a celestial being, and she has always been. But at this point, celestial beings were more shadowy. If you've seen this drawing here, in, I think, what episode? It must have been in my last episode, right? Episode? Am I a show? Guys, in the last episode of the Angel Kill show, you saw this illustration here. No, but you saw this little comic page, one of the first ones that I've tried making, digitally at least, of the Black Garden, right? That it's like when God created the world and whatever, and there's this black creature there. That was supposed to be like the creator at the time, which is the way that they call God in this universe. Like the people who don't know better, because in this world is technically like our world, just with more whimsy. And like there's this random Muslim country in the middle of South America. There is like the usual gods that you will know. People believe in their gods, like whatever god they want, right? But in this universe, there would be the creator that would be part of it. specifically of The Black Garden, which was this black being, and the celestial beings were inspired by that. And this was a drawing that I actually showed in the folder series. Everything is just there, okay? So this is like a description of that leg, and just this is where we get into the dark, okay? Random Selena drawing, very suggestive. 2018, I think that this is where 2018 ends, and this is where 2019 begins. So you will have to get into some stuff. First, you can see this name here, Josie Mary, right? This character existed, I think that I created this character before Selena, who was created around 2012, I think, which is... I probably created Josie Mary in like 2009 or so. This is like one of my oldest characters together with Zachary, which is impressive. So now I get into this Jack. This Jack Hoon, here it says complete, you were able to draw this character, just translating it. This Jack Hoon is Demo V. Yes, at the time, I think that I mentioned this in the video where I redesigned Demo V, or like actually designed him or something like that, that I never actually knew like what eye color he was supposed to have. At some point I was like, well, Jellish has blue eyes, so I can't give him that. And at the time, Cave had green eyes, so I could not give him that either, so I gave him heterochromia, so that he had both. And then later on I was like, you know, when the artists at some point were like, well, if you create a character with heterochromia, they're like Mary Sue's and John Cena? No. The other, that isn't a Mary Sue. Gary Stu? Is that the name? Whatever, like the overpowered like character that every single artist makes when they are edgy and whatever. And they started complaining about that, so I was like, well, I can't give this guy heterochromia now because that's overdone. So I gave him brown eyes so that he was normal for a point in time. Oh, I did not. What is happening? I'm having an aneurysm. I'm sorry. I gave him brown eyes so that he was different and normal, just a guy he was at some point. Then I just got tired of everything and I just made him completely blind, which goes in part of his story, right? He gets possessed by a demon because I had a dream. Not because of that Jack right there, okay? I know. This is the thing. Things get confusing, and they will get worse, okay? But I had a dream at some point where I was like a camera viewing something happening, like the story went out, and I was like, this story is perfect for this character, like this character who is not Jack Hoon anymore. His name is Demo V. But at the time, he was the president's bodyguard. That's what I remember. And he was very punk because I was really into that, actually. Look at Selena. She was also very punk at the time, or like grungy alternative. And this, also she has no eyebrows, okay? By mistake, not because she didn't have it in her design. I just forgot. Damn, Gucci belt and everything. I remember that I was obsessed with this Gucci belt. Never got it, thank God. I don't like Gucci. I don't like brands. Brands annoy me, big brands. Like fashion brands. They annoy me. This is the end of the first sketchbook, which I've recorded a lot for one little thing. Now we get into this. So this little fella right here is a complicated one. Because I have to translate stuff. Because at this point I just decided that I was going to write things in Portuguese. Also, furry, straight up. This is also why I didn't show one of my sketchbooks, because I used to draw cats, okay? I was the type of person, so what? What are you gonna do, cry? This character I actually still consider as a character, part of lore. And I have to say stuff, okay? So, this is Tigra Harper Fire, a student from Meowie High. When a completely normal girl until bullying gets to her head and turns her psychotic, which is not exactly how things work. Aggressive and savage, and the only thing that keeps her sane is her religion, a weird one, I guess. I remember that at this point, things get like really weird, right? So she is 16 years old. So this says like first course, right? That you can read that. That would be like 10th grade, I think, in the US or something along those lines. Meowie High, height 5'4" for you feet people, 164 for you normal people. The race! She is a Mao, a white Mao. I don't know if Maos also are called Mao in English. I have no idea. So this was the parallel religion, which was a weird thing based on the creator at the time from the Black Garden, like that same creator. Her crush was Mew, which we will get into in a second. Her relationship is also with Mew, so we will end that with in a second. Her best friend is Angel, also known as Whitey. Her nature is psychotic, aggressive, savage. Favorite color is black and pink. Black is not a color, but that's fine. Her hobbies are murder and singing. Her family is Helena, Angel, Jack, and... See, another Jack. I never was created. I remember I would just Google male names and just choose which one. That's how I got like Jack 1,000 times. And lastly, I know that like Helena was her mom? Angel was her brother? No, Jack was her brother. Who's Angel? Oh, that's her dad. And Leslie was her sister. Now I get into Mew. Mew Violet. A girl that likes making others happy, or in this case, smile. Usually making little jokes with others. No one knows her real personality. She only shows her real nature, which is calm and serious when she is at church. She's also 16. She's 5'8". Her race, just a white cat. Same religion, the parallel one. Her crush is Tigra. Her relationship is also with Tigra. Her best friend is a girl named Star. Her nature is calm, serious, and playful. Her favorite colors are purple and pink, and her hobbies are sports. That's interesting. Honestly, both of these character designs, they're just very cute still. And I like how like the craziness really shows with this type of eye, where it's just like a color and then like a black dot in the middle. There's Tigra and Mew, which this is wrong because supposedly Mew is shorter than Tigra. Here I say like this is horrible, oh my god, the anatomy. And then we have, this is where I actually redesigned at this point, 178 I think, a little bit. So this is 178 and this is she, or a little girl, she, or beloved. This, man. How do I explain that? I started using blocks for anatomy. Man, we're just going along. I will not explain this, not even a little bit, okay? But this is a redraw of something. This, oh my god, guys. This is a fan art I made for BJuMine. And in one of his videos, you will actually see, in like one of his videos in 2019, which has like, it's like a simulator game where there are animals like at school or something. Something along those lines. You will see the actual finished result of this drawing in his Scrub of the Day section. Here it was an eye practice. We actually get into eye stuff. Here I was doing lots of eye stuff, crazy eyes as well, and whatever. Just various studies. See, finally I start writing in English. I just mix things up from time to time, I guess. This technically still applies to the story of Zelium nowadays. Non-identified creatures, which were the celestial beings at the time, have strange shapes in their eyes like hearts and lines as their pupil. The geometrals, which I just called elements at this point I guess, have shapes like squares, rectangles, triangles, like geometric shapes in their eyes. Creatures and lichers, which was like the opposite of creatures. Nowadays it's just the creatures, lichers don't exist, have another colored circle in their eyes, and humans just have black normal pupils. Eye studies, which you will later see how this changes. Am I a disappointment to society? And the answer is yes. Let's just move on. Me doing character designs. So, we have Selena. Of course. Has symbol on her thighs. Oh yeah, because they had like the symbol on them at this point or something. It's like very weird stuff. I wouldn't even know how to explain. I don't even know when and how I got the idea for the symbol to exist there. I know that this I was supposed to color in digitally. Also, at this point I did not draw noses sideways. This was an interesting thing that I adapted at some point to my art style for a while. I think that at some point I actually stopped drawing noses completely. So she's aggressive, rude, irritated, psychotic, again using psychotic like that, manipulative, and really fast. In heels. Honestly though, these were like objects that she carries around, which honestly she still does carry around. Weapons. For other reasons at this point than not back then. Also, cable headphones. Bring them back. A bit yawn rim. But a bipolar yawn? Guys, we should all start a campaign where we just end younger me's career, okay? Creepture 178, they're all 172 in height, which would be around 5'8". Around it, I think a little bit less than that. So she's depressed, always tired, socially anxious, big crybaby, negative, super force. Look at the muscles. Yeah, she has like the big arms. And made of shadows, which I feel like Creepture 178 did not change all that much. Selena's the one that changed the most, but that's because Selena's a very old character. She still has like the thing where she's made of shadows and like she can create herself the big arms, but overall when she is just like normal, she also is very buff. And at this point I remember, oh, she only has 18 teeth. Oh, that's cute. She's toothless. Grows giant teeth when angry. Oh yeah, that is something that happened, like teeth like grew along her jawline. Shadow flames appear on her shoulders when angry. That's so... You know what, let's just ignore it. Anyways, it's a cute little design still. And then I was going to draw she, who at the time... I just say like, draw this, you fuck. Stop procrastinating. She at the time was like half inch or something. I don't know, it was a weird thing. Then here I was like doing perspective. I know that I actually drew this digitally. Me drawing stuff. At this point, I remember that I liked using ball jointed dolls as reference for these. I like big poofy dresses. I have to explain this. Are you still recording? You are, but at what cost? I thought that I would have to talk about this only later on in this sketchbook series, but I have the Xelium story for years now. At some point, I grew obsessed with the creepypasta characters, and I noticed that what the fandom has made their dynamic to be fit in really well into my story if I substituted certain characters for characters of the creepypasta universe, sort of, because none of them are actually like related, really, in the same story, at least most of them. So I just started drawing situations that were supposed to be between my own characters, but substituting certain characters for the creepypasta characters. This is where we get stuff like this, Sunset Shine. This was a drawing that I did digitally afterwards. Comic stuff, you know what? I won't even translate this. This is like Tyra getting angry at God or the creator, like in this weird cult thing. And she's like, I'm going to run away with Mew. I don't know, it's weird stuff. Here we have Selena Be Normal. Childhood moments. This is a drawing based on Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Sky. Me and my cousin really liked the Mystery Dungeon series, and when I started playing the Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Sky again at some point, I started playing it with my cousin, and we were like, well, we should like make ourselves the starters and whatnot. And so I did a little drawing based on that. This is a draw this in your style from an artist whose name I don't remember. I think that their username at the time was Be Scared. Here we have Sunset Shine Part 2, which is just 178. I actually drew this digitally as well. I don't know if I have these drawings anymore, honestly. Here we have Sunset Shine Part 3. This drawing is actually still really, really cute. There was a fourth one and I never finished it, damn. Thank God. This is Sunset Shine Part 3. I did this digitally as well, and it's really cute, and I know that I redrew this in 2020, I think. The original was still cuter than the 2020 version. And here we have like the Sunset Shine logo. I guess it was some sort of art zine or something. This was a draw this in your style by some famous creepypasta artist. This was me doing celestial being things. Then again. I said that I didn't like it, so... This was the angel character. I know that this was made by another cousin of mine. That was my cousin's character. They existed in the same universe. This was actually a school project. I won't get into it, honestly. I don't feel like it. Here we have... Oh, this is a Tigra reference sheet. 10 lines, 2 in between. I think that this was like for the tail design or something, so that everything looked the same. Also, at this point, my hairstyle was just like very line-based, which was an interesting look, just poorly executed. If I were to do that again, me drawing again, right? In my old sketchbooks, I can. These sketchbooks are mine. If you're bothered by it, I'm sorry. If I were to recreate, let's say this, right? First of all, what is the shape? Something like this, right? And I were to like make everything very liney, you have to like put certain strands that are like going out to really show the movement of this sort of style, because otherwise it just looks very blocky. Like, this is a very bad representation of it, but you get the gist of what I'm saying, right? In itself, it's very cute. And this was like her whole thing. I remember that she was supposed to have like this barbed wire bat. Shy, aggressive, manipulative, pervert. I didn't know that. I'm pretty sure she's a minor though. Big crybaby, family problem, fashion lover. Are you sure? Are you sure about that? I don't think so. These were humanization. I said everything wrong. This was supposed to be a humanization of Team Charm from the Pokemon Mystery Dungeons series. This was, I think, Gardevoir from the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon series. And this is the Fire family. So we have Elena, which at this point she lost her H, I guess, which was Tigra's mom. Here we have Marcelina, which was Tigra's aunt, her sister. We have Lazu, at this point I guess I renamed her, which was Tigra's sister. Then we have Aloyn, Camp. I don't know who this is, honestly. And we have Jack Fire, which is her brother, I guess. This is a complicated illustration to talk about. Basically, so these are all like... I remember that at this point, like Selena, she... 178, whoever this character is, whose name I don't know, they were like all part of one being, and they were like souls separated. Complicated stuff. Here we have Star Carter, which was Mew's best friend. This was one of the first iterations of Cherry U, and I forgot the H in the cherry, so it's just Sari. This was one of the first iterations of her, and later on you will see me redraw this again and again because I could never be satisfied with her design until nowadays. Here's me drawing her again, still forgetting the H, and here I actually put it down. Here's that character whose name I don't know. Still that character whose name I don't know. I guess I drew them a lot, I just don't know who they are. This was for a Draw the Singer style. At this point I don't remember, okay? I did this, and I think I didn't like it, so I redrew it in this cuter one. Man, I remember Draw the Singer styles were like really big at this time, and then they died out. Chibis! This is a drawing of the creator, but in a cute little outfit. Just a random person holding a gun, or at least trying to do that. Oh, Selena in this outfit again. Okay. This is the creator and Henry, which, yes, they are related. They still are, sort of. This was for a Draw This in Your Style, I think by the same artist. B is scared, or B is scared. Something along those lines, I think. Is or was their username. I don't even know anymore. I haven't seen their art in so long. But this was of their OC. I think that their name was Edgar, and they had like a crow. I don't know, it was an interesting story. I know that I did this digitally and like did a whole like rose garden background for it. Selena. This was a redesign of Nietzsche again, where I just turned him into something, some like being that doesn't have any gender or anything. And I just decided to obliterate them out of existence. Oh, little she. This was me trying to draw like 2 new Creepshow characters. Then I drew the two. Well, this is 178. This is some other random creature character, but they don't exist anymore. Ugly ass, and I'm like, damn. Yeah, it's very ugly. Phoebes, I just couldn't. I drew a bench, just very crooked. This is a girl named Ashley, I guess. Hi, Ashley. Hello. Selena, which was supposed to be the redraw of that one drawing that I redrew a bunch. Random guy. This is some more Selena. Tigress Aunt. Random. No importance. This is me doing concept art for a drawing that I will later on draw, which I don't know if I'm able to show now that I think about it. New Year's drawing. I remember that during the New Year's, I had to jump a bunch of pages because those were all practices, and I don't know if you noticed, but I'm censoring certain things. There's this website called Line of Action, which gives you a certain amount of time to draw a specific pose or something, and it gives you a bunch of pictures to study anatomy and stuff. And I started using that website, which was one that helped me really improve not just with pose, but anatomy in general, overall. And as I was waiting for it to be midnight so that everyone could do their loud, shitty fireworks stuff just so that I could fucking sleep in peace without having my brain exploding, I was just like drawing and practicing, waiting for it to be over. And so from here on out, we're in 2020. And I remember this specifically here was a concept at the time that I was following, and I don't know. I like the idea of it still. Honestly, it's a really cute little drawing still. I really like it. But I don't know, it was a concept that made no sense. So here we have a drawing of Marcelina. I know that she was supposed to be a gardener and she was like sort of crazy. And I can't show this drawing here, which is a shame because it's actually an interesting concept. And here I just say that Upgrade is a good film. I have no idea. And here we get into a thing, because as you notice, here we have the geometry redraw of 2019. But actually, I drew this on the 1st of January of 2020. So technically it is a 2020 drawing as well. But I just decided to count it as 2019 still. And this is the redraw of the first drawing that I ever made, like without copying or referencing anything, which I have in my folder series, just 2020 instead of 2016. Me trying to draw a jumping pose, and I'm like, everything's too small here. Yeah, at this point in my art style, I started very chibifying everything and just compressing it and stylizing the anatomy without understanding the anatomy first, so the proportions were all wrong. And this was a little bit better. Okay, so here I was watching the Jane Eyre movie, because when I was a kid, there was a Jane Eyre thing that I watched and I was obsessed with it. And so I watched a movie and it was fun, I guess. I don't know. And some random girl here. As you can see, here I was studying perspective. 3-point perspective specifically. Here we have The Creator again, Anne with an E. Great show. Also great books. I have the whole like series, every single Anne book, and I also have like her children's book and the Darilla from Ingleside book. Have all of that. Great series. The last book of the Anne series, very boring. I couldn't even finish it. But the rest, oh man. And here's like the redraw of that one eye that I drew at the beginning here, somewhere here. The eye just a few months later. I don't know if it's better or worse. Me doing more. They're ready to kiss. More random stuff. Can I show these? Can I? Yeah. Let's see. Line of Action. Let's do that. First, skinny and then add muscle. I guess I was writing down like, how do I even do that? And here I was like doing perspective stuff. Just all wrong. She. Selena. This is not how perspective worked. Neither does it work. More eye page. Fee Molly was a character from that same Tyra story who is a singer, and I don't know, they're someone I guess. And here's like this design for Selena, which I just completely abandoned, and here's a Henry. This was a character that appears in the Tigress story, and here I'm like, there's something wrong with my breathing. I think I was having an anxiety attack actually. And I don't know, this character is actually dead. It's an interesting design though, with the eye here on the chest. This was a redesign of Cheryu. Once again, at this point I decided to call her Cerise, and she would like have a friend called Freeze. And they were going to be like 4 angels or something. Here I started watching Beastars. So I became a full-on furry. So you have like furries and cerise. Here we actually have a drawing of Demovie and 178, where I finally decided to be like, well, I shouldn't just keep drawing the creepypasta characters with my own characters, right? And I drew Demovie. At this point, Demovie was going to be a creature as well. Their whole dynamic was that she was a creature and she knew it, and he was a creature but he didn't know. I don't know, it's cute, I guess. Scream. Guys, I'm starting to lose my voice. Random drawing stuff. I have no idea. This was some random concept that I came up with, again, did not go through. Here we have Demovie being like, oh my god, I'm transforming, what is this? This character right here is absolutely dead. What's their name though? I have no idea. I'm a wonder. That's an artist, isn't it? Interesting. This is Jealous. Surprise, surprise. He changed a lot. Oh, thank god. At this point, he was supposed to be your typical bad boy, and I actually have a little drawing of like Jealous nowadays being with Jealous back then. They would not get along. I mean, Jealous nowadays would have fun with the Jealous back then, but back then he would not have enjoyed that. Huh. A dog. Then we have Selena here and a little rose thingy in this dress. I have no idea where these ideas came from. Redesign of Cherry U again. At this point, she was going to be called Cherry Pop. And this was going to be her final design until I decided to change everything again. These were actually made with Stabilo pens, and it's an interesting art style, honestly, to like just use the pens to color in. Selena and Cherry U, which I finally put them both together in the same story. Here we have this drawing of that same concept again, but very blurred. A bunch of random stuff. Cherry U. Oh, a bunch of random stuff again. I think that this was supposed to be part of the Cherry U story as well, this character, but they are completely dead. This was the last design that I ever drew of them. Chibis. Concerning. Oh, 178's eye. Selena's eye. At this point, I started drawing circles as eyes. It was an interesting art style, I guess. And then we have like the creator as well, because they have like an interesting spiral eye. And the last page, which is Vomit, and this is it. 2019, 2020. These are the sketchbooks. This is falling apart as well. Man, I have so much to show. These stories have gone through things, okay? I've gone through stuff and concepts and everything, really. I'm glad things have changed. I think that the 2020 sketchbooks is when things start getting downhill. I think, is the next sketchbook when that starts? I don't know. I hope you like this, and I hope that you like seeing how things go forward. I don't like where things are going. I hope you have a nice day and night. I hope to see you next time. Also, if you want me to redraw anything from this, you can like tell me the timestamp down below and what concept or something you want me to redraw. That would be an interesting video as well. I'll see you next time. Bye!